Hey, things are not what you think.
Yeah, there's always something you don't know.
Welcome to Joey's Real Talk.
老外大声说。
因为讲到这个交通安全，我们就顺便今天在 Real Talk 谈一谈在台湾开车的经验。All right?
It kind of makes me wonder why you're the only DJ that they ask every year to attend these driving safety.
Maybe
What
they've seen
you saying,
videos of
woman?
him.
Same dude
Whoa, you
every
say it.
year.
你是说我开车开得不好，所以他才要我去吗？
我没坐过你的车 I have no idea how badly you drive.
Who here has been in my car before? Yvonne's been. How's it driving?
So.
She gave me a come see, come saw. Okay, well, it's not too bad. Like, I kept everybody alive so far.
That's the bare minimum. That is the bare minimum.
Driving skill for life, for life, as long as you can stay alive. Okay, anyway, there probably is a good reason why they keep on asking me to go back. So all of you here have a driver's license.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is up with Nancy?
So I got my driver's license in Taiwan purely for insurance purposes. Apparently, if you have your license for a longer period of time, then insurance isn't as expensive. And I don't drive. My family didn't own a car back then, and it was one of those things where it's like, you pay for the lessons and you get tested where you practice for those lessons, and then they tell you you turn the wheel 3/4 left when the windshield touches that tree or visually lines up with that tree, and then you memorize all these formulas, and then you do all these things like drive into and back out of an S-curve, and then a lot of stuff that may not be so much applicable in regular
Sounds
driving.
like you drive off an Excel sheet or something.
It's so ironic. And I was talking about this with Philip earlier. I was like, I have a license technically, but I can't even remember which side is the gas pedal and which side is the brake.
Terrifying.
There are
Absolutely terrifying.
And there are excellent kick bottom women drivers. Okay, it's not about maybe, but it just doesn't apply in my life.
Lack
just
of
never
experience.
use it.
Yeah.
Subway, walking.
It works.
The brake is on the left, by the way.
All right, good to know.
Okay.
What's on the right?
What?
Yeah.
Gas.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
What about the third one?
Right. What? There's a third one.
Oh.
I don't remember.
You didn't. You learned automatic,
Yes,
right?
you
Yeah.
don't have a third one. That's
Automatic.
right.
But you're right. Learning to drive in Taiwan is so formulaic. You have to learn. You have to watch for that little pot of plants, like in the corner, and then you turn 3/4. And when they remove that pot of plant,
You're a goner.
you're goner. Yeah, I failed my first driving. Okay, maybe
Really?
there
'Cause
is a reason why they
I
asked.
passed on the first try.
You did.
Which is ironic. 'cause
Did you
I
guys
still
all
don't know how
pass
to
the
drive.
first one?
The
first driving
I did
test?
3.
You did 3.
Yeah.
But you did it in the States, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's different. That's a whole other kettle.
Like a
of fish.
whole lot of easy in the States.
What are you talking
The
about?
roads are so much wider.
Yeah.
Yeah,
actually
but the
have to know
testing
how to
is
drive.
hard, and they test you. I don't know about America. I assume it's the same, but in Canada they test you on the road, and they're so strict. Like if you go through a yellow light, failed right away.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you're
Yeah.
like I was going 30 in a 30 zone, but because I was on a turn, failed. I mean, they are so strict.
They really are.
Here in Taiwan, I get criticisms from my passengers if I don't book it through a yellow light.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, you're supposed to slow down when you see the yellow light. So obviously there's a lot of differences in, driving experiences. Yes, Leslie?
Yeah, it's just, I think the biggest one for me driving in California is just, you have those big, wide open 5-lane highways, and I just love switching the lane all the time.
Why do you need to do that?
Because it's just
Because it's
fun.
boring
Because it's
otherwise.
fun.
Because you're just driving straight.
I mean, if you have all that space, you're not going to use it?
But in
here's the-
California, isn't it
maximum
usually full of cars?
but like between San Francisco and Los Angeles, yes. But this time I was driving between the two, and in that middle highway, there's nothing there, just farms.
Okay.
But the biggest difference between driving in Taiwan and driving in America, I would say, is all those motorbikes, the scooters, and that is terrifying.
Plus, they don't follow the rules.
Exactly. So I always say driving in Taiwan is like driving with an angry beehive in your car. Because it's just going
There's just a swarm, yeah.
around you all the time.
Definitely.
Probably a farmer somewhere who's like, I actually had that experience right there. Okay, yeah, you're right. But on a scientific level, switching lanes is what actually causes congestion. because whenever you switch lanes, then the car behind you will have to slow down, and then the car behind it will have, so like it's better to just stay on one lane.
It's funny because I read that tailgating is the reason why congestion happens.
Maybe that too.
I'm sure there's more than one.
We should probably explain what tailgating is to the Taiwanese listeners. What is tailgating?
Well, to them, it's just driving.
Especially to the cab drivers. Yeah, that's just the way things are here.
There's so little space and so many cars. That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
That's when you're just, basically you're
driving
kissing,
too close.
Yeah.
To the car in front of you.
Your front bumper is just
Attached
touching
to
the
the-
back bumper of the car in front of you.
Well, not necessarily that close. But,
Whoa, yeah.
but if you can like count the hairs on the driver in front of you, you're a bit too close.
If you could just see his reflection in
what
the
if it's
rearview
like,
mirror,
what
then
if
you're
it's
too
Homer
close.
Simpson?
Well,
Then you could always count.
But then even before you count.
How many, by the way?
3.
3.
Is it 3, not 2?
I thought it was 2.
I thought it was 2.
It's 2 and it's curled over. Isn't
Yeah.
it? So it
I
makes
thought it was 3.
You guys go home and do your Simpsons homework.
Okay.
Someone can Google it, whatever.
That was okay. By the way, if you guys know how many hairs Homer Simpson has on his head, let us know. But more importantly, if you have any driving experiences that you want to share here in Taiwan, something that frustrates you or some interesting stories, share that with us on Facebook Live.
Okay, so speaking of that, Shu Ling Ye says, several female friends of mine got the same problem with Nancy. Haha, they have a driver's license but never drive in Taiwan.
You don't really need to.
No, it's so convenient.
Well, I think
The Taipei.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different between cars and scooters. I drive my scooter all the time, and it is awesome. But if I had a car, I probably wouldn't use it that much because parking is hard, and then you're never even really close to where you want to drive to.
Yeah.
The only time it's useful is if you're going to Costco. That is it.
I went to Costco yesterday.
Lucky.
And it was
Okay, guys, stop plugging Costco, please.
They're not
Costco, give me money.
Hold on. But I will say this, like, I don't think it's as bad as... I think a lot of people get hung up on the parking part, but there's a lot of parking lots in Taipei, which is relatively cheap. Because I used to live in New York, and last time I went back, it was $64.42 American dollars to park for half an hour in Times Square.
What? No. Oh, you
Whoa.
mean NT or American?
No, American.
$64.
$64.42
To park for how long?
for half an hour
No
in Times Square.
way.
No,
Actually, I've heard one of my other friends can confirm that.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
it's insane. So, like, when you're...
Is that why they call it Times Square? Because you have to
the
square.
time is money, bro? Time is
from the corny fuzz.
Okay,
All right.
moving on.
Moving on.
Back to Philip, who says he rides scooters a lot here in Taiwan. Do you have any experiences riding scooters here?
I am desensitized.
Oh, you
Like,
know.
you see so much stuff every day. People just don't use their indicator. They don't look over their shoulder. They don't care if the light is red. They just go wherever they want, or they will block traffic to try and get where they're going when they're not even supposed to be turning there. And I mean, it's like, do you not care that there's people behind you? They've got somewhere to go. You're messing up traffic,
Apparently
When I
not.
find this a little bit odd about Taiwan, because in other aspects of Taiwanese life, they're always thinking about other people. You go eating with a Taiwanese person, you will not be hungry. Even if you go for Western food where you normally get your own plate, they're still sharing food all the time, making sure everybody's got food. So they're always thinking about each other. But then when you're driving, it's like, I don't care. It's where I want to go. I will cut you off. I will do whatever I want.
I don't know, for some reason, I feel like Philip's being so Canadian.
I have...
He's so like, this is so wrong, but everybody's so nice all the time, but why can't you just be nice?
I just don't understand. It seems like 冲突.
On the flip side, like, when I drive in the city, I think, like, oh wow, these people are pretty mindful and pretty active of how they drive. The scariest experiences I've ever had while driving in Taiwan is on the highway. Because one time I was trying to switch into the lane to get out, to an exit. I was driving to Taoyuan, I think, and then there was a cargo truck behind me, and then I turned on my indicator.
Oh, the
and
trucks are scary.
Yeah, and the minute I turned on my indicator, I hear, "Arr!" And then like he's just like, I'm like,
no
why is he honking so hard? And then he just zooms right by me, like 16 tons of 7-Eleven sandwiches just going right past me.
Road rage.
And I was like, oh my god, that was terrifying.
7-Eleven sandwiches. I stopped listening.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm a little hungry now. But okay, back to Philip. I'd like to argue that there is a mutual understanding of how you're supposed to share the road here in Taiwan, which is very different compared to the rest of the world, maybe.
True.
But after being here, as you said, you've been desensitized, and when you look at traffic accidents, it's not like there's drastically much more here in Taiwan. So
Really,
maybe
I
it's
think
because
there
you think
are
there's
a
more.
lot. I think there are a lot more.
We should get some numbers for that. We'll come back with that after a short break. All right, and in the meantime, if you guys have anything to share on Facebook, make sure you drop it on Facebook Live. Today's topic on Real Talk is driving safety or driving experiences here in Taiwan compared to the rest of the world. Okay, let me quickly look that up while you guys talk to the screen.
Somebody turn up the air conditioning.
Oh my god, I'm sweating.
Rachel!
Freezing out there.
你就到
I'm sweating.
Leslie, 那个 Nancy 她的声音真的很小 so maybe like point it towards her a little bit. 因为你声音已经 naturally 够大。
Hey, someone talk to Sweet.
Hi, sorry. Okay, so, oh geez. Cai Yao, why am I using the mic? Cai Yao Zong says, it's true. Why can we think for others in different places except on road? And then OAO. What's OAO?
Oh, it's like a facial expression.
Oh. Okay. Sorry. And then Grace Lynn says, that's right, it's totally different when you drive on the road compared with going to driving training. It's so true. When would you ever need to drive into and then back out of an S-curve? And then stop right at the bottom of the hill, and then the red light turns green, and then you drive up the hill.
But I mean, it's also you're on the road and there's no cars around you, so you're not really worried about anything. You're just worried about driving the course.
Yeah.
All it tests you for is how well you can drive on the course.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Proven by... Right. So if you have run into some crazy traffic incidents or you have some experience yourself, scary, crazy, please share it with us on Facebook Live and we'll read it out on air because I'd love to hear.
There's lots of stories.
I'm sure there's lots of
Yeah, of course.
Go ahead. Okay.
Sure.
So once I went on a taxi and then I was going from Xinyi to Tianmu, so it's about like an hour ride. And then I realized the driver was acting kind of drunk.
Oh my god.
And then he kept asking about like my financial situation.
What?
And I was like, what's what I'm going to? And he was like, oh, 有钱人. And then,
Wow.
and then he kept looking at me through the mirror. So when I was at a red light, I just like got off and I ran.
Did you even leave money?
I was so scared. I was like, should I pull? And then I was like, yeah, bye.
Okay, we
Your
don't...
safety is definitely more important.
Yeah. I'm conflicted between, paying your bills or paying whatever's due and...
Yeah, the only concern is there might be a camera and you might get in trouble for stealing.
Well, anyway.
You just leave a 100 or whatever. Just
But like,
run.
what if I got kidnapped? So like,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
scary.
I'm sure if you said you were really scared, I'm sure they'd understand.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy driving in Taiwan. Oh, DJ Jorge's on. Hi, Jorge.
Hola.
Hi.
Hola.
Hola.
He's back from Spain? Is he back from Spain?
What's that compared to other places?
No.
What? I hate this number because it's not really helping. It's.
We need to compare.
I have the United States right here.
Oh, Elise is back. Elise Yi Hua
say-
Cai. Hi, Elise.
Do we have some comments in there? Like on the
compare with other Asian
original
Maybe
preview
double
post?
check? Yeah. Elise is the person who always answers all the questions for us.
I don't get internet in here. Can one of you guys check up?
Type that.
I had a preview post for
on the
Joey's Real Talk,
ICRT
and then I think
page?
2 people told us about their experiences with driving.
Jorge says, oh, hola.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ah,
That one's not in there.
¿Cómo estás, mi amigo?
Oh, you speak
That one's not
Spanish?
in there.
That just means
That's
how's
it.
it going?
That's it.
Basic stuff. You can
That was a look of sheer
search
terror
the
and
page
panic
for Taiwan.
on Leslie's face.
It's not on the list at all.
No me gusta.
That's good.
Por favor.
Por favor.
Hasta la vista.
Okay. Hasta la
This is
vista.
terrible. No, Jorge's
Yeah,
gonna
there
be
we go.
insulted.
Thank you, Emma. Let's see. So, Chaco-san says, Taiwanese people, especially young generation, like to travel by themselves, but I want to remind everybody that some Taiwanese tourists had serious car accidents in Japan. Since September 2007, you are allowed to drive in Japan for 1 year if you have a domestic driving license of Taiwan. And its Japanese translation, no need for an international driving permit. However, Japanese uses LHT, which is left-hand traffic, instead of right-hand traffic, which probably makes people confused when driving the road. No matter if you have great driving skills, please pay extra attention and drive safe in foreign countries.
Chaco's always really well informed.
Yeah, these just straight up got all the information, man. Yeah. All right, Chaco. Interesting. Well, what do you think? Like Canada, they drive on the right side, right?
Most of the world does, and we definitely do.
Okay.
Have you never been to Canada? Didn't you say you've been?
Yeah, but like, I don't.
Hey, you hoser!
I know, hoser.
Go back to Canada.
So American.
I crossed the border into. Oh yeah, in a car. That's right. There we go.
You're not gonna like switch lanes as soon as you cross into Canada. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay, you got me there, Phil.
I'm gonna read this out.
Okay, this is for you.
Oh no, that's okay. We'll share.
Show where entertainment, English, and great music come together.
Well, let's get going.
ICRT.
Okie dokes, welcome back to the Real Talk segment today about road safety, traffic safety in Taiwan compared to the rest of the world. Maybe, we just drive differently here in Taiwan, but is it actually less safe? Once again, we're inviting our guests, Philip, Nancy, and Leslie. What's up, guys?
Hi.
Hello. Good to be back, Joey.
I frantically tried to look up some statistics. Can anyone whip out a calculator for me? So here it is. From www.statista.com, they say that in year 2015, there were 140 road vehicle accidents per every 10,000 vehicles. So could someone just give me
Wait, 40?
140 accidents for 10,000. So it works out to be about 1.4% basically, right?
Yeah.
In my hand, I have a statistic from the United States, which says that it seems like in 2015, there is a... Jeez.
Did you lose it?
This one doesn't help. It tells me that there's a growth of 10%. Hold on, let me look.
See, this is how me and Philip feel when we do that 3 o'clock news on Monday.
Joey gives us the questions like 5 minutes before the cast.
And then he's like, could you do some research on the numbers for like the last 20 years of this statistic in Taiwan? And we're like,
And their
what?
growth rate and blah, 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 blah.
It's like, oh, you don't have time to do that?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I failed miserably here.
Okay, well, Gary Vore says, as a professor in NHU in Jiayi,
Oh, thank God.
the students and I were talking about how colors assist us with life. When asking the students what the traffic light colors mean, I asked about yellow. Oh, one student. Wait, how come I can't read the... Oh, flip the phones. I don't know how to use this phone. No, wait, sorry. One student... Wait, what? One student actually replied, the meaning is go faster. Oh, right then.
That is
Not
Taiwanese driving
surprised.
in a nutshell. Right
That
there.
is. When you see yellow, go faster.
Because
That's what it is.
Joey gets flack for not speeding through yellow.
Yeah, it's true.
And then I was
don't
driving
know.
with my dad yesterday, and then like I stopped at yellow, and it's like, what are you doing? I'm like, driving safely.
And then Greg Zimmerman says, driving in Taiwan is like being in both offensive and defensive driving mode. So true. Simultaneously. And watch out for grandma. Oh, that
very
sounds
true.
scary. But it's so true. You have so many of those old ladies dragging like their vegetable baskets or shopping baskets
Through the
behind them.
intersection,
And then
not
the
at a
worst-
crosswalk.
And it's even worse when like they're pulling like a 2-3-year-old or a little kid behind them, and they're not going on like a crossing. It's
They
just,
grew
like,
up in
big
Taiwan in a
walking.
time where they didn't have intersections or roads.
Maybe, but it's
Yeah, but we
like-
do now,
Yeah.
right?
Can I just say one thing? Why is it that all of the statistics on road accidents or traffic accidents in the United States is about fatalities? It's like you can only look at deaths, but you can't look at just accidents alone. Is it because
They
there's
might
just
not
too
even
many?
record them. I mean, yeah, there would be so many. Like, and also, what is an accident? If you like back up and hit another car. Does that count as an accident? I mean,
I guess.
probably
like-
not even reported, right?
Last week, did you guys hear a small passenger two-person plane crashed on a California highway?
What?
Like how that is a vehicular accident, but what would you categorize that as? Is that like would that be a traffic accident?
Yeah.
Oh.
Air or like an air
Yeah.
traffic accident?
Yeah, because I mean you do have a vehicle that just on the road, on the highway. Do you get what I'm saying here? It's just
I get
I
what
think
you're
there's some
saying.
gray area. Like what if someone was towing a boat, the boat came unhinged from that tow and then caused an accident? Is it the boat's fault or is it the car's fault?
So jump in any time with those
That is
statistics now,
definitely
Joey.
the driver's
still-
fault for not
Honestly,
securing their
talking.
boat.
This stupid website's trying to make me pay for the
just-
statistics. I'm going nuts. Okay,
Why
you know
don't
what?
we-
I would like to argue on behalf of Taiwanese people that there actually isn't that many more accidents just because of how crazy we drive. Because after a while, you sort of get desensitized and you get into a groove and you just
But I
start
mean,
to
it
know
doesn't
each other
matter
better.
what groove you're in. If you're not looking over your shoulder when you change lanes,
There's just some
there's going to be
basic
somebody there eventually.
Common sense things.
Do you know what I mean?
There's sorry, go ahead.
no, go for it.
So
Two Canadians.
So
Oh my
Canadian
gosh.
right now.
Please, after you.
I also want to say there's a lot of people who come from other countries and they come to Taiwan. They're always shocked by how when they're crossing the pedestrian crossing, the cars that are turning right don't stop for them. That's always a shock.
I always
to
look
people.
the Taiwanese driver in the eyes and keep walking. And I say, I'm watching you, and they'll usually stop.
You better watch out because
That's so
on like the
Canadian.
straight traffic might not be seeing your eye contact.
Yeah, but I'm
and just
watching
keep
the
going.
car too, and like I'm not going to be running in front of it.
Yeah.
I'm aware of what's going to happen.
Wait,
I got it. I got the numbers. Okay, in 2009, Taiwan claimed that there were 17.5 traffic deaths per every 100,000 people. Remember, so that's what, about 0.17%, right? Okay, now let's go to, say, for example, which country should we compare to? United States?
let's do it.
Okay, United States has 10.6 traffic fatalities per every 100,000. So it's about 0.1%. Taiwan is a little bit higher, 1.7 compared to 0.1.
Okay,
in the
look
United
at our
States.
producer's face. She's giving you that face like it's time to
Move on.
stop with the statistics.
Anyway, so let's continue
Yeah.
with some of the point of views from people like who we've talked to. There's a whole list of people who we asked about their experiences driving in Taiwan. Man 26 from South Africa said that the first time he came to Taiwan and saw the traffic, he promised himself to never ride scooters because the traffic is just such a mess. And he was living in Tainan, so public transportation wasn't as convenient. So the first time he finally compromised and rode the scooter, he felt like he was going to die. And he was surrounded by hundreds of scooters, which I'm sure you've all been in that stuck in that predicament.
But does it
before.
say something about me that as soon as I landed in Taiwan and I saw those squadrons of scooters, I said, I want to get on one right now.
That you're an
now.
adventurer. That's what it says about you. Okay, so another one. This is from Friends, female, 29-year-old, said that when they first learned to drive, or when she first learned to drive in Taiwan, cars with new drivers, they have this new driver sticker on the back. So you of course get nervous at first when you're driving, so they need this to tell people that, okay, like don't give them a break.
Right.
But people were just honking non-stop and they
So
would stare her down
aggressive.
even though you are a new driver. Have you ever had that experience?
So mean. But we kind of do the same thing in the MRT. Ooh. In the MRT, you know how like you're supposed to stand on the right side of the escalator, and when you want to walk up the escalator, you go on the left. But if some person who might not be aware of the rules or for whatever reason forgotten, they stand on the left, everybody gives them dirty looks.
Oh yeah.
You
It's
just
the
say,
same deal.
excuse me, and then they
Yeah.
move.
You sort of
Or
have-
you passive aggressively stare them in the back.
That does happen.
I think
I've
being
done
here in
that for
Taiwan,
sure.
it's learned. It's taught me to learn to be like less aware of what people like when people are staring you down. Just
Yeah.
forget about carry about doing whatever you do. Even if you got honked, you just keep doing
Live in
what
your
you
bubble.
do. Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
But like as a
That's
foreigner,
healthy.
we're always getting stared down, so you don't know what the cause might be. It might just be because you're walking while white.
Walking while light.
Maybe. Okay, there's one more. There's one more. Male American, 35-year-old, who says that he gets this a lot. Whenever his light turns green, there's still cars coming from the
It's so true.
perpendicular direction.
Right.
You really have to look
see it.
both ways before you cross the street. Because it doesn't matter if the light's been red for 1-2 seconds, people might still go through.
Okay, and it goes the other way as well. Whenever his light just turned yellow, there's already people whose light just turned green is already booking across the intersection. So, which is, it's like, I guess, bewildering, because if Taiwanese people are used to booking through yellow lights, then we should know that we shouldn't start too fast, because there are people who are still doing that.
I think it's because there's, traffic, everybody's so crunched into a small space and crowded. It's like if you don't hurry up and get through the intersection, whether you're a pedestrian or a driver, you're going to miss your light, or you won't have a chance.
I actually have a theory on this. The lights here are all timed. They don't have sensors.
Right.
Like in Canada, we have a sensor. If your car stops, then it will sense that there's something metal over it, and that's when it'll trigger the light to change. But here, the lights are all timed, and they can be very, very long, and everybody knows that. So when you're coming up to the light, if it's going to turn red, you might think, oh man, I really don't want to wait, 130 seconds just for this light, so you'll gun it through.
Especially if there's no cars crossing.
That you can see.
Then you feel like I'm just wasting my time.
99-second stoplights kill me, man.
I know.
It says 99, but you realize it's been blank for longer before that. It's because it doesn't have 3 digits. So sometimes it's 130 seconds. Who knows? It could be
I
longer.
read that they don't do the countdown. The light in front of ICRT right here is always 90-something seconds, right?
Yes.
So that's like a good minute and a half.
Yeah.
And every time I'm watching that thing countdown, I just feel like my life draining out of me.
No.
It takes forever.
Wait, let me ask you guys something.
Forget the numbers.
In Canada, can you turn right at a red light?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
you can. You can do that in the States too, right?
And then you guys have like stop signs in Canada, right? Like those are a thing.
Yes.
Okay, because those two
God.
are not things here. I've noticed.
Right.
Stop
They're
signs here.
not everywhere, though.
Not like where they don't have stop signs where they should be, and when they do, they are really small.
And you can't even see it because there's so many signs
Nobody
on the side
follows
of the road.
them.
You know what? We should give them the American or Canadian perspective. In the United States or in Canada, we have stop signs and four-way stops.
Yes.
So there's a stop sign with a four-way to let the words four-way on the bottom. What do you do at a stop sign?
You come to a full stop.
But not people don't come to a full stop. I'll say that.
Rolling stop.
Rolling stops definitely happen.
And then you wait for the cars in
No,
the...
Well, you look
don't
around.
wait for cars. If you're the first one there, you go.
No, that's a four-way stop. A stop sign means you stop and wait for everyone to go before you can go,
for
right?
sure.
Yeah, so a four-way stop is everyone stops and we figure out like who got here first.
And whoever's
then that
on the
person
right
goes
side
first.
goes, yeah.
And then
Or turning left at stop signs or any intersection in Taiwan. As soon as the light goes green, people turn left before the traffic comes.
Yeah.
But in North America, you have to wait until the cars are gone before you can turn left.
Right.
Okay,
Otherwise, you're going to get smashed.
I also have a theory or a proposal. I think in addition to having horns, we should have thank you signals.
You press a button and it just says, thank you.
It's true, though.
in the States, how we say thank you is you raise your hand.
Yeah, you just raise your
But
hand.
you might not be able to see that. We should have
You
like
could
a
flash
light
your
or
lights.
a ding dong or some kind
Flash
of like
lights.
smiley sound, And then it's like expressing gratitude would do a great deal to reduce road rage and like the feelings of being separated from other humans when you're locked into this little metal cubicle thing.
A little flag pops up over top of your car. It can be seen from all around.
I have a feeling that's going to be a Canadian design first than anywhere else in the world.
Well, we do have 3 Canadians in here.
We do,
Who's conceived.
yes. Okay, I have 3 quick questions for you guys. Here's the bell.
Oh boy.
Let me know if you can answer it. First off, do you know, just to test some of your road safety know-hows, what is the Dutch reach? Yes, Philip.
That is when you exit out of your vehicle, you use your right hand first so that it forces your shoulders to turn, and you will see if a car or a vehicle or a pedestrian is walking up beside you.
That is correct. Give yourself 3 dings, please. Because there's a lot of bicycles in Dutch or in Holland or in the Netherlands, so they call it Dutch reach, which sounds a little dirty, but
That's
like
what I
It does a
look
little.
back,
It does a
look
little.
back to see if there are cyclists coming up. Okay. Next question. How thin can your tire tread be before you get fined for it?
Is it 3 millimeters?
No, even smaller.
1.5 millimeters?
Very close. 1.6 millimeters. That is 3 dings for Leslie.
You should get 2 because he was off by 0.1.
Right.
Now you're just being petty.
Yes.
You can get fined up to 3,000 or 4,500 NT for having your tire tread too thin. But of course, I mean, it's dangerous for you to like be slipping and sliding all over the road when you can't brake. Okay, last but not least, can you ride on shoulders of highways here in Taiwan?
No.
No.
That is incorrect.
You can?
There are times, for example, during Chinese New Year's, you can go
Yeah.
onto the general highway,
didn't know
That
that.
blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like I was driving down to Taiwan for Chinese New Year, and they were on the shoulder. I was like, "Is that legal?" And my dad's like,
Everyone would do it.
My dad's like, "Yeah, whatever." But I'm like, if an ambulance needs to get through, I am
Yeah.
terrified.
well, we don't. Ambulances is
They
not a
don't stop
topic
for
that we haven't
ambulances
covered. Yeah,
either
no
here.
one ever does.
geez.
All right, so that is a little bit about traffic safety here in Taiwan. Don't forget, Ford is holding their driver skill for life sessions coming up very soon. You can actually go onto their website and enroll. They have sessions in Taipei, Taichung, and Tainan. I'll be joining the one on July 30th in Taipei. 希望大家如果说觉得自己在台湾开车上路会紧张的话呢，就可以来参加福特他们的 Driving Skill for Life FDSL. Did I spell that right? Yeah, sounds about right. 在台北
DSFL.
在台北
DSFL.
DSFL, you're right. 安全节能驾驶体验营，台北、台中与台南都有。然后我会来到7月31号的 DSFL session. Shut up, guys. Okay, anyway, thank you, Philip and Nancy and Leslie for joining us today for the Real Talk.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks, Joey.
Let's take a break, listen to some Drake. We'll be right back with more here on FM 100. Hello, handsome and gorgeous. Thank you for watching our video. If you like more general shenanigans or artist interviews, please make sure you click to the next video. But also make sure you subscribe to us by pressing the bell button down here, because we like to tell you more about fun stuff coming up.